Hello and welcome to the Digital Validity channel. My name is Eric, and in today's video I want to show you how to run Rippled as a validator. So assuming you've already set up your node and now you feel it's time to enable it to be a validator, a good resource here is of course the XRP Ledger website. To be honest, I didn't use this website to enable validation on my server. The resource I used was the Rabbit Kick Club. Now they have their own validator. They're on the UNL list. That's the Ripple's recommended validator list. Here they are on BitHump. They have a great uptime. They don't miss any transactions, so they're doing everything right. So here's their website. It's rabbitkick.club. Here under installing, configure, and running Rippled, it's part 2, enabling validation with Rippled. And under the table of contents, it is number 8, enabling validation. Excuse me if I'm sounding a little nasally. I'm just getting over a cold. So before you begin, consider the extent to which you are prepared to operate a validating node on the XRP ledger. While operating a validator is technically no more difficult than operating a non-validating node, operating the validating nodes entails additional commitments to security and trust building. In order for your validator's proposals to matter, it must be trusted by other node operators on the network. This requires your building relationships with operators, publicly identifying yourself, and having open conversations about why others should trust you, not to maliciously collude with Ripple or other network operators. Operating a validating node also requires proficiency as a server administrator, as validator with low uptime is unlikely to gain trust. To establish trust as a validator operator, you will need to practice strong security. This includes running minimal software on Rippled nodes and avoiding installing web, email, and other server software on your Rippled nodes. So basically, you want to dedicate your server just to running Rippled. You don't want to be surfing the web on it. You don't want any kind of connection, incoming connections, outgoing connections going to your from your server. You just want to dedicate it just to Rippled. Each incoming connection represents a security risk and a potential target for a DOS attack. Exactly. It is important to restrict incoming connections on validating nodes to the bare minimum, such as SSH and perhaps a WebSocket connection for monitoring the node. For most people who interact with the XRP ledger, a non-validating node will suffice. You can access transaction data and send and receive transactions through a non-validating node. If you feel prepared to commit to running a validating node, then you simply need to generate and install keys. Okay, so let's move on here. Generating the keys. So to enable validation, we will need to generate an additional key pair. After we generate this key pair, our validating server will actually have 3 different public keys that it can use to identify itself. The first key was generated automatically when we started Rippled. This key is stored in this directory here. We generated the second key pair, which each node in our cluster uses to identify itself with other nodes. We will generate the third key pair, and our validating node will use it to sign versions of the ledger that is proposing to the network. Other validators on the network can include our public key in their validators list if they want to trust us as a validator. So to generate the key pair, here we go. So this is the command. You can just take this and copy it. Now you go to your command line, paste it here. Now I don't want to enter in this command because I've already generated my keys. So as soon as you hit enter, it's going to generate. So it's going to have a message here that says validated keys stored in this directory. And it's going to be a validator-keys.json file. So if it's successful, which it will be, it's just a simple command. That file is going to be stored here. So you would move on to this next command here. But let me go into this. I set up a dummy file here, so we'll go into the directory as if we just generated the keys. So it's cd.rippled. Now if you look at the with the contents of this directory, ls, so here's where the file gets generated. So we're going to type in nano validator keys.json. So I took this text straight, I just copied this straight from here as just a dummy file. But so this is your JSON file. I don't suggest storing this on the server. This is basically your keys to your validator. So you want to keep this safe. This is your secret key. Of course, this is your public key. This will be the address that you will look for on BitHump or XRP charts on the validator list. This will be your address. Okay, so coming back to this page here. So ensure you replace, okay, blah, blah, blah. Now, what you're going to do is you're going to generate a validator token based on this file. And then we're going to take that token, which is this, and we're going to put it in our Ripple configuration file. So if I were to take this command and put it in now, I'd get an error. But all you do is you take this command. Since you have this already set up here, this is your JSON file, so we can get out of it. You would just paste this command here. Oh, sorry. Forgot to copy that. So copy this command. Let's delete all this here. This is the command. As soon as you hit enter, if all goes well and you have the correct file directory in place, because here this is calling for the validator keys program. It creates the token and it looks for your validator keys JSON file. So if you got an error, I would look at your directory file structure where your validator keys was stored. So as soon as you hit enter, it's going to generate this token here on screen. Let me delete this here. We'll clear this out. So once it generates this token, you want to copy this. Maybe put it in a notepad temporarily. Okay. Now we're going to go to our configuration file. So it's cd. I'm going to change our directory opt ripple /etc. ls. I'm going to look in the directory. So I already set up a rippled dummy configuration file. This is the main file. Of course, we know that. I'm going to go in here so that we can use this as an example. So nano, actually we'll do, it's going to be sudo so we could save it. Sudo nano rippled dummy.cfg. Okay, so here we are in our configuration file. Scroll all the way down to the bottom because we're going to add this at the bottom. Go back to your notepad or wherever you store this validator token. You're going to copy this and you're going to paste it in here. Now the important, here's the important step here. So make sure you back up your validator keys.json file, because like I said, that has your secret key in it. It's basically like your seed. So save that somewhere and then remove it off of your server. and this is the command, RM for remove. So let's exit out of this, save it. Let's take this command and we're gonna remove that file. Okay. Remember to sudo and then remove it. There we go. So if you were to go back into that directory, cd slash dot ripple ls, the file is no longer excuse me, the file is no longer in there. We removed it. So now we're secure. So make sure you save that file somewhere else outside of your server. Okay, so right, so you've added the token into your rippled configuration file. You also want to set your peer private to 1, because it prevents your validator's IP from being disclosed to others, right? So for a validator, you want to add this here to your configuration file. So let's go back into our config file, cd slash opt slash ripple slash etc nano, sudo nano rippled. Now it's the dummy file, so I'm going to use the dummy file. Scroll all the way down to the bottom. So here's where we added our validator token. Now you're going to add the peer private one. So now your IP is hidden. Control X to save it. Hit Y, yes. Hit enter. So we have it saved. And then basically you're done. You just restart sudo systemctl restart rippled. And then you know this command, server info. So it says make sure that your validator is connected to the non-validating node. So here, let's just use this command. So once it says proposing here, that means you'll see your validator public key here. And so if you want to confirm that your validator is online, go to BitHump. And this is like the most satisfying part, when you've successfully deployed your validator and it shows up on this list. You feel like you've accomplished something. It's great. It's a great feeling. You'll want to scroll all the way down because it'll be here at the bottom. Eventually it'll move up on the ranks as the longer it stays online. But so match your public key validator address here. You can just copy this and hit a Control F here, paste it here. Oh, so this is mine. It found it, and here it is. So, well, that's it for today. If you guys have any questions, feel free to contact me at digitalvalidity@gmail.com. Appreciate you taking the time to watch this video. If you like this video, please like and subscribe to the channel. And I will see you in the next one.